All right, the third and final portion of the lesson is finding the 6 trig functions, the exact values for them. So to find the exact values, we need to recognize which angle we're going from, and we also need to know the lengths of all 3 sides. So to find this third side, we're going to use Pythagorean theorem. Remember, a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. A usually refers to the left and right movement, and B usually refers to the up and down. Now, it doesn't matter as long as you put in the legs for A and B, and the hypotenuse is C. So we would take 12 squared plus 5 squared, and that would give us C squared. So 12 squared is 144, 5 squared is 25. Add those together, you get 169. That's what C squared is. We want C, not C squared, so we need to square root this, and we get that C is 13. Now that we know all 3 sides, we can go from our angle and write down the 6 trig functions. Remember, we have SOHCAHTOA. Sine is the opposite divided by hypotenuse. Cosine is the adjacent divided by hypotenuse, and the tangent is the opposite divided by the adjacent. So if we take the sine of our angle, that would be the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. The cosine of our angle would be the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. The tangent of our angle is the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. Now remember, we have 3 other ones: the cosecant, the secant, and the cotangent. The cosecant of the angle is the reciprocal of the sine, so that would be 13/12. Secant of the angle, it's the reciprocal of cosine, so it's 13/5. And then the cotangent of your angle is the reciprocal of tangent, which would make it 5/12. And then here's the last example of the day. Use the given information to solve the triangle. So we have an angle and we have an opposite side. So using SOHCAHTOA again, we would then want to solve for the hypotenuse and the adjacent side. So I'm just going to label them H and A. For the hypotenuse, we could use sine. So sine of the angle is equal to the opposite divided by the hypotenuse. Then we can solve for H. We could also find A by doing the tangent, because tangent would have the adjacent side. Tangent of the angle is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent. So solving for H, I would multiply H on both sides, and then divide by the sine of 20 degrees. I would do the same thing over here for tangent. I would times both sides by A, and then divide by the tangent of 20 degrees. Then you would just put this into your calculator. So I would take 5 divided by the sine of 20 degrees, and that would give me 14.62. And I would take 5 and divide it by the tangent of 20 degrees, and that would leave me with 13.74.